Anyway, talking about a slightly foreign name, am I allowed to do that, or have I just been terribly racist by saying
Oh, my
that now?
goodness. Oh,
That's
my
it.
goodness, I'm so mortally offended.
Cancel me.
You spotted that my name isn't Anglo-Saxon.
Cancel me.
Oh, but at least you can go to one of the plays.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I could. I
Yeah.
feel I'd be going undercover.
It is, of course, the voice that you're hearing and the lovely picture you are seeing as of the former MEP, Deputy Leader of Reform UK, Ben Habib, who is with us in the studio. Morning to you, Ben.
Good morning.
Morning.
Excited. Do you want me to put those tickets for you, Ben? For any of
Well,
these
let's see if I can get in.
performances?
Let's see if I can.
Are
It'd be
you
interesting.
Are
wouldn't
you
it?
Are you black
Brown
enough?
enough?
Well, can you self-identify in this
Yes,
case?
apparently.
Can you go more
Can
extreme? And
identify. It does say
Yeah.
it's black identified.
I mean, I'm only brown. I'd have to
Yeah.
make a further
Only
jump,
Ben could
wouldn't I?
say that.
But then what if I mean, that's actually quite a good point there, because it says black and black identifying. Now, presumably the black identifying means if you're mixed race that you feel more black, I suppose. I don't know. I feel like I'm on shaky ground. But what if you wanted to go? Would that then be something you couldn't do?
Well, I haven't tried. I haven't tried. Any theatre that wishes to exclude white people is not one I'm immediately going to target as my next bit of entertainment.
And is this sort of the right idea, but completely the wrong way of going about it? 'Cause
I think it's the wrong idea.
No, I think the sentiment
We've
is
had
nice.
this discussion
But I think the sentiment of let's try and encourage a certain group that doesn't come to the theatre much is a good thing. But what I don't like is the fact that it's only one group, and I don't like the fact that they've decided to do it by racial segregation. That to me is ridiculous. But is it? I don't know. You disagree?
Well, I completely agree with what you opened with about the importance in the important issue here is social mobility, the ability for people of all ethnic backgrounds, irrespective of their religious beliefs and sexual preferences, etc., being able to go to the theatre. That's social mobility.
Yeah.
All government policy should be aimed at equal opportunities for everyone so that everyone can afford to go to the theatre. But what you don't do is bring equality about by positive discrimination. This idea that discrimination can be justified because it's progressive. The word progressive conjures up images of it being correct and virtuous and so on. But no form of discrimination is right. All discrimination must be ended in society. We've got to stop diversity, equality and inclusion as a policy being practiced by educational establishments, government institutions, private businesses, the armed forces, the police force. It is corrupting the United Kingdom, and it's having a malign effect at a massive rate. It wasn't even a major issue 10 years ago, but it is now, in my view, Cristo, a hollowing out the United Kingdom. That one policy alone, I think, can be blamed for so many ills that we now experience on the streets of the United Kingdom.
Do you ever feel?
I do.
I agree with you.
Do you ever feel like theatre is, because the organisers say that they want to shift the norm, I quote, of theatre being historically a majority white space. I mean, again, as someone who is non-white, do you ever go to the theatre and feel self-conscious?
No, never have. And I've been going to the theatre all my life. But it is no doubt the preserve of people who've got money, because ticket prices are not cheap.
That to me is the outrageous thing here.
Yeah.
That to me is what should be addressed. And we were talking in the last part about you should have universal credit nights. Say every ticket's a £5, and if you are on universal credit, whatever your ethnicity, class, whatever it might be, if that is what you were on, then we want to open it up to you.
See, I still don't agree with that, because that's divisive again. I think it should be mixed. There should always be seats available to those people.
Fine, or do it that way. Fine.
Also, has anybody asked these people if they don't go to the theatre because it's just something that doesn't interest them? You know, has anybody asked black people if they don't go to the countryside because it's racist, or because they just don't want to go to the countryside? We are deciding for people by their skin colour what they should be doing.
Actually, that's a really good point, because remember when it came to, I can't remember which council it was, I think it was either Haringey or Tower Hamlets, where it was Black Boy Lane, and they changed the name of Black Boy Lane. But when they did the consultation, all of the black people that lived on the road said, no, we're completely fine with the name Black Boy Lane. We have no problem with it. But because some of the white people didn't want it because they thought it was racist, they changed the name. So actually, it became this sort of strange, perverse reverse racism, because then the white people decided that they didn't want a name that black people were fine with, which is showing that the black people's opinions wasn't as important.
Yeah, and it's turning your back on the history of the country, it's turning your back on the culture of the country, rewriting it. You see this taking place in lots of developing countries, particularly ones that were colonial. You know, they rename streets, they tear down statues. None of this is the advancement of their own culture, it's just the trashing of a culture that went before. And we do it in spades in this country.
Yeah.
You know, we very nearly tore down Rhodes' statue on Oriel College. We tore down Edward Colston's statue. Colston, who was a massive benefactor for Bristol.
Yes.
Bristol would be a shadow of what it is now if it wasn't for Edward Colston. And what he did in his time may be abhorrent to people today, but so is what Julius Caesar did. And we don't condemn Julius Caesar.
No, what we do is we give the context, and we give a rounded, or what we need to do, in my opinion, is give a rounded information about the history, and even say, I'll talk about my plaque again, you know, put a big plaque next to him saying, look, this is what he did, this was great. As years have gone on, his legacy has become more controversial. This is the reason why. Here's a QR code, find out more, judge for yourself, here's the statue.